Learning faster is like microwaving a burrito. Most people set it for 5 minutes, walk away, and come back to a frozen center and lava edges. It's really easy to mess up. Think about it. You've probably spent hours highlighting textbooks, rereading notes, watching educational videos while scrolling your phone. And somehow, a week later, you remember absolutely nothing. You might think you're just bad at learning, but actually, you've just been microwaving it wrong this entire time. Most advice on the internet tells you to study smarter, not harder. Great advice, super helpful. That's like telling someone to just be rich when they ask how to save money. Other people will recommend eating blueberries, drinking black coffee, taking cold showers, listening to Mozart. And sure, maybe that stuff helps a tiny bit. But at some point, you actually have to, learn things. Here's what's actually happening. Back in the 1880s, a German psychologist named Hermann Ebbinghaus discovered something depressing. He found that people forget about 50% of new information within 20 minutes of learning it. Within 24 hours, you've forgotten 70%. By the end of the week, you're lucky if you remember 25%. This is called the forgetting curve, and it's the reason you can watch a 3-hour tutorial on how to use Excel, and by the time you actually open Excel, your brain has already deleted the file. But here's the thing. Ebbinghaus also discovered that you can completely beat this curve. You just have to stop doing what everyone else is doing. Most people learn by what's called passive learning. This is when you highlight textbooks, watch YouTube videos, read articles, sit in class taking notes. You feel like you're learning because information is entering your eyeballs, but your brain is basically just nodding along, pretending to pay attention, while secretly thinking about what you're having for dinner. What you actually need is active learning. This means instead of just consuming information, you force your brain to retrieve it. A 2024 study from Yale found that students using active recall techniques, like practice questions and self-testing, scored significantly higher than students who just reread their notes. Another study published in EdWeek this year found that people who think they're slow learners aren't actually slower, they're just using slow methods. So what does active learning actually look like? Let me give you an example. Let's say you're trying to learn Spanish. Most people watch a Duolingo lesson, feel accomplished, close the app, and that's it. They've just passively consumed information, which means tomorrow their brain will dump most of it. But if you want to actually remember it, you need to practice retrieval. Close the app, wait 5 minutes, then try to recall every word you just learned without looking. That feeling when your brain struggles to remember, that's not a bad thing. That struggle is literally the process of learning. There's a technique called the Feynman method, named after physicist Richard Feynman, who probably learned it while casually solving quantum mechanics problems for fun. The method is stupidly simple. If you want to learn something, try explaining it to a 5-year-old. Or at least pretend you're explaining it to a 5-year-old. I won't judge if you talk to yourself. Here's why this works. When you try to teach something, your brain has to organize the information, find gaps in your knowledge, and simplify it down to the core idea. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it yet. And that's actually useful information, because now you know exactly what you need to focus on. Next, there's the 80-20 rule, also called the Pareto Principle. It says that 80% of your results come from 20% of your effort. For learning, this means you don't need to memorize an entire textbook to get good at something. You just need to find the 20% that actually matters. For example, in Spanish, just 1,000 words make up about 80% of everyday conversation. So instead of trying to memorize a 30,000-word dictionary, focus on the most common 1,000 words first. And finally, there's spaced repetition. This is the cheat code that makes the forgetting curve your friend instead of your enemy. Instead of cramming everything in one night, you review the same information at increasing intervals. Review it today, then tomorrow, then 3 days later, then a week later. Each time you review it, your brain says, "Oh, this must be important," and holds onto it a little longer. Eventually, it sticks forever. So let's put it all together. Step 1. Stop passively consuming. Stop highlighting. Stop just watching videos. Step 2, practice retrieval. Close the book, test yourself, try to explain it out loud, make it hurt a little. Step 3, focus on the 20%. Find the most important concepts and drill those first. Step 4, space it out. Review today, tomorrow, then spread it out over time. That's it. That's how you learn faster. No blueberries required. Now, important disclaimer. This method will actually make you learn things, which means you'll no longer have the excuse of, I'm just bad at learning when you fail a test. You'll have to come up with a new excuse. Might I suggest, the questions were unfair, or I knew this yesterday, I swear. Anyway, I'm taking donations in the form of subscribes to fund the next video.